well. This is Janvi Pujari. I'm a self-taught web developer and a mentor in Newton School, and I welcome you all to my channel of Students Coding Community. And my friends, like this video, and if you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button so that you never miss another updates. So my friends, today is one of the very unique video, and why is that? Because this video was requested by one of my dedicated learner from this series, and he wanted to explain me about responsive navbar. So that is why I am uploading this video. Otherwise, this video wasn't part of my AceJS series. So this will be our day 7 of learning responsive navbar. So without any delay, let's get started. And if you're wondering what kind of code editor I am using right now, then it's Newton School's code editor. And the best thing about this code editor is that it is very much useful for beginners. Why is that so? Because not only you can write code over here, you can also learn programming and solve practical questions just for free. Don't you think that is cool? And also what this Newton School is, again, I have seen people who ask always that what is Newton School, what do they teach, where do they teach? So let me tell you about Newton School. Newton School is an online learning platform where you can learn full stack development courses and get your dream job. And the best thing about this is you don't have to pay any fees until you get placed in best companies. So check out the link in the description to skyrocket your coding career. This is our Newton School's code editor. I have basic HTML boilerplate ready. So my friends, very first we will have our nav tag over here. And if you are new and you don't know what this nav tag is, then let me tell you that nav tag comes under semantics. Now the semantic tags are simply used for increasing readability of your code. So since we are making a nav bar, nav tag would be very good option. So here I will write nav bar. Now here I will write input type checkbox, and let us give one ID as well. Now you might be thinking that why are we adding checkbox over here? You will understand it very soon. Okay. After that we will put one label, and label for it would be check, and class would be check btn. Okay, now this is because whenever somebody will click on that hamburger, then our hamburger should get checked. You won't understand it right away, but eventually you will. Now for our hamburger, we will have this hamburger menu over here. And after that, we will have one more label, and here the class will be logo, and we will write here Newton School. So this will be logo for our nav bar. And after that we will write one UL tag, inside which we will have our all the menus. So here inside li we will write anchor tag so that it should look like it is clickable, and then we will write home. Services, contact us. So right now we are having only 3 options over here, but if you want you can add more. This is how very basic HTML code looks like. Now it's time for doing little CSS. So very first thing that we need to do over here is writing asterisk. Okay, now this asterisk is called as our universal selector, right? Whatever you will write inside this asterisk will be applied to whole your web page. Now let us put padding as 0, margin as 0, text decoration as none, list style as none. Now important thing is that whenever you will use anchor tag, remember one thing, that one underline comes under your text. To remove that, very simple trick is that you have to put list style as none. One more thing that we're gonna do is we will put box sizing as border box, and font family as usual sans serif. Let's keep Now we're going to target our nav bar and let's put one background color over here. And here I will put one height as 80 pixels, width as 100%. Now it's time to style our logo. So for logo, I'll take color as white, and also we will give it some font size and line height as well. Now let us give it some padding and font weight as bold so that it should look bold. And one more thing, and yes, and we have to move our menus to the right side, so we will do float as right, and let's give it some margin right as well because it was going too much that side. And then now to bring all of them in same line, we will say that display should be inline block, and we will give it some line height similar to our logo and also some margin. And let us change its color and font size. Now whenever somebody will hover on our menu, its color should change, so that is why let us give it this color, and also it should do that process very smoothly, and that is why we will be using transition. Now it's time to explain about why I have used this checkbox over here and why I have kept our hamburger menu inside that checkbox. So the logic is very simple. We want that whenever that checkbox gets checked, we want our hamburger menu to show. Okay, so now it's time to style our check button. So what we will say, we will increase its font size, color, and we will make it float left. We will give it line height, margin, and we will make its cursor as pointer. Why? Because it should look as clickable. Now we will say that its display should be none. Why? Because desktop view it should not be shown. Only our main menu should be shown. We want that whenever it shows on small screen or tablet, mobile, such things, we just want it to show at that time only. So we can see a small checkbox over here. We want to hide that as well. So for that also we will say that display should be none. Now media queries are used to make our website responsive. One of the most important tasks of a developer is to make his or her website responsive. Now I will say media queries and I'll put max width, and up to maximum width of this we want that our logo should be of this size, and its padding left should be of 50 pixels, and also we will target and also we will target our menus. We want that until our maximum width is this much, we want that size of our menu should be this much. We will use once again media queries for smaller screens. Now to check sometimes that when the screen turns smaller, difficult to figure out that at what screen size should we add properties for smaller screens. If you want to find out that, you can either use this body so that you can understand it what size is perfect for smaller screens, right? So I just do that, I just write body background color as red. So what this does is that it helps me to understand it which is my perfect maximum width. So as soon as the color turns red, we can understand that this is the right size for smaller screen styling. So here I will write that check button display as block. We want that check button should be shown and be shown, so that is why we will say that display as block. And to show our menus properly, we will say that position as fixed, and we will give it some height and width, and also some background color, and we will say that top should be 80 pixels and left as 0. So why are we keeping left as 0? Because it should not when we are clicking that hamburger. Okay, so we will say that display li should also be block, and we will set its screen size as well. As soon as our checkbox gets checked, we want that our UL's left should be 0. Its left should be 0, and I will go above and I will say that initial left value should be minus 100%. So in this way, by doing this simple tricks, you can see that it makes huge difference. Now you can see that it makes clickable. Basic thing that we did over here is that we made one checkbox and also we made one label for it, and inside that label we put our hamburger, right? This was the first thing that we did. And in the last thing, what we did was, whenever the screen size decreases, right, we want it to show, and on the desktop mode we made its display as none, and when the screen size reduces, we made its display as block, right? So did that, we made UL's position as fixed, and all we did was, whenever we check that checkbox, its left should turn as 0, and whenever we are not checking it, its initial value should be minus 100%, so that we can see it easily. And if you're wondering what kind of code editor I am using right now, then it's Newton School's code editor. And the best thing about this code editor is that it is very much useful for beginners. Why is that so? Because not only you can write code over here, you can also learn programming and solve practical questions just for free. Don't you think that is cool? And also, what this Newton School is, again, I have seen people who ask always that what is Newton School, what do they teach, where do they teach? So let me tell you about Newton School. Newton School is an online learning platform where you can learn full stack development courses and get your dream job. And the best thing about this is you don't have to pay any fees until you get placed in best companies. So check out the link in the description to skyrocket your coding career. So my friends, this much for today. I really hope that you have liked this video and you have learned a lot of new things from this video. Do not forget to share this with your friends because they might also find this helpful. And if you are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button and access the playlist, because in the previous videos I have covered a lot of important concepts which you might miss, and I really don't want you to miss that, because for a beginner all the basic concepts are so much important to make the foundation stronger. Plus, practice is the only key to become a better web developer. So I will recommend you all to please practice everything that you learn from my tutorial or any other tutorial on the internet, so that you become stronger with your foundations and become a better web developer. So this much for today. So bye bye, have a great day.